This is Sims, and we are back with more Psychedelica of the Ashen Hawk, and we are going to go down Lucas's route today, so I'm just going to open this save, and we're going to go to the flow chart, and we're going to go way the whole... Oh, wait. We got to go to chapter 8.8. Nope. Wait, no, that's not the one I want. I want this one. And then we can choose to talk to Lucas. This is don't run away. Okay, so then we can skip down to the map, and then we get the Lucas ending. So, dun 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 dun. I was like, this is going so slow. Anyway, we want to talk to Lucas. Okay, who should I go and talk to? I like this. There's a lot less choices you have to make to get down the right path. You do this, and then you go jump right down to the map and go talk to, like, you know, run away with Lucas, basically, and that's it. So, Lucas was alone in the chapel. I watched him from behind as he looked at the stained glass window with a heavy air about him. His presence didn't instill fear like before. I stood next to him and looked in the same direction in silence. Lucas's real father supposedly made the stained glass window. It still allowed a gentle light into the church. I wondered what this man thought of it. Was he thinking of Olgar? Lucas... I turned to face him. Is it really all right to kill Olgar? Please tell me what you think, not as the heir to the Hawks, but you personally. I wanted to confirm one last time how he truly felt. Lucas also turned to me and looked me straight in the eye. I don't want to kill him. They were words from his heart. Lucas was being completely honest. I trusted those words immediately. But he must be killed. Ever since I was a child, I've been forced to make decisions. To decide what must truly be protected. To decide what must be saved. And that's something I've thought about all this time. Okay. Those words were powerful and heavy. I can't read today. I don't know. It overlapped with the thoughts in my heart. If it's for the sake of the town, whether it's someone I'm indebted to or a criminal, I must be killed. That's the answer I've decided. Lucas's eyes showed no hesitation. Why wouldn't he hesitate? No, that wasn't the point. And this was the conclusion he came to after his own hesitations and deliberating at length. That was why he could believe in himself. He was strong. What he said just now reaffirmed that. Lucas, you're strong. That was how I was raised. Francisca also raised me to be strong. Closing my eyes brought back memories of the good days gone by. Would the town ever be the same as before? Do not ever close your eyes. I opened my eyes. The answer was up to me. I'll decide on my own, too. I'll think about it long and hard and come to my own conclusion. Yeah, you do that. He smiled. It was the first time Lucas acknowledged me. That was the feeling I got. All right. Boop. We already chose all that, so we go here. Map 8. And then we go... Wait, which one's his? Oh, his is the field, right? The snowdrop field? Yeah. And we believe in Lucas. Oh, and we go to the foggy forest. Oh, wait. By the time I realized it, I was walking toward the snowdrop field. Oh, we can just skip through this until we get to the choice. Believe in Lucas. But after some hesitation, I made my decision. I should be honest with how I feel. I wanted to see Lucas. That's why I'm here. And he was now in front of me. There was no reason to hesitate. I showed myself from behind the tree. Lucas must have already noticed me as he was looking my way. Our eyes met. I took one step toward him. He didn't move. He simply stared at me as I approached him. Neither of us said a word. Just a little more and I could touch him. The moment I sensed Lucas move, he grabbed me so strongly that I couldn't shake him off. I couldn't run away. Is he taking me back to the jail cell? By his own hand. But that didn't happen. He pulled me toward him and I tripped over myself. Lucas embraced me as I fell toward him. I could feel him holding me tighter than when he grabbed my arm. Lucas? My face was buried in his chest, but I looked up at him. In that moment... Oh, he kissed me. Yes, exactly like that time. When he mistook me for someone he was waiting for, he kissed me without even knowing who I was. Just like then. He quickly moved his face away. Lucas stared at my face intensely. For some reason, I couldn't bear his gaze. I looked away and tried to push myself off him, but it was no use. Lucas used his hand on my cheek to have me turn back to him, making our gazes meet once more. There's no way you're here. Am I seeing an illusion? I escaped. He should already know that. He was the one who put me in the cell in the first place. Yes, that must be it. I'm seeing an illusion of the woman I long for. If you are an illusion, there's no way I can capture you. It was a roundabout way of saying it, but he seemed to be saying he wouldn't capture me again. This was coming from someone who, of his own accord, decided to imprison, embrace, and kiss me. Such a selfish man. It wasn't my intention to be mad, but my words came out like a sulk. I did what I did because I believed that was for the best for this situation. Lucas moved away from me. So you didn't betray me. Lucas acted with firmness, but he did answer with a slightly scary tone. Okay, here's what I'm concerned about. The other choice is in the foggy forest when you go and like you're in the prison and Olgar's like, kill me, and you're supposed to choose ... But the weird thing is Snowdrop Field, choose believe in Lucas is first, and then I already clicked that and I was like, oh shit. I think this just goes straight off on this path. I don't think we get a chance to go back to the map. You know what I mean? Like, so whatever. It's not a big deal. As long as we get down his path, it doesn't fucking matter. We can always go back to that choice and then, whatever, see what it looks like. But I don't really think it's not going to do anything. You know what I mean? It's just going to be like, thinking about it. It's going to be like 2 lines. Not a big deal. Anyway, Lucas acted with firmness, but he did answer with a slightly scary tone. In that situation, any one of them could have attacked you. I did it so that you wouldn't be killed. Forgive me. I never thought that Lucas would betray me, but hearing that made me feel slightly more relieved. After that, we became silent. I squatted down, but Lucas remained standing as we looked at the snowdrop flowers. I wondered if Arya ever came to the snowdrop field. I didn't know why I thought that. I had the feeling that I'd seen this scenery before. There's something I realized after seeing all of it. How unusual. Lucas was speaking in hesitation. You mean what happened in the past? He nodded. After pausing some more, he reluctantly spoke again. The reason Francisca did that was because of me. Huh? When I was a child, I met Arya. It was before father, before Olgar adopted me. Lucas had met my mother before. I was surprised, but it wasn't impossible. After all, both of them had lived in this town much longer than I had. But his statement of it being his fault concerned me. I waited for him to continue. She treated even someone like me, the son of a poor craftsman, with so much kindness. And when I followed my father to her home one time by chance, I heard her say, I'm a witch. I'm a witch. And I told that to my father word for word. As a child, I was deathly afraid of witches. So the person Francisca paid off then. That was my father. He was an accomplice to Francisca's scheme and was murdered by Olgar. His current father had killed his biological father. Lucas must not have known that until he saw that flashback. My father wished for peace when he made the stained glass window at the church. Olgar, father, although his methods may have differed, he did so in hopes of protecting this town. I'm the one who made them both mad. Oh, you poor thing, it's not your fault. Oh, that's not true. Olgar went insane because of that magical stone. I'm the one who gave Olgar that stone. You did? To Olgar? After hearing that, I didn't know what to say anymore. Lucas was not at fault. There was no doubt about that, but I couldn't think of what to say to defend him. It was a precious ring that I received from someone, and I gave it to Olgar as my token of loyalty for his adopting me. I gave that ring to show that I had thrown away all hesitation and regrets in order to swear allegiance to him. I've tried to live my life with no regrets. And yet, I'd not expected this outcome. Lucas gave a self-deprecating smile, but it seemed sad and empty. The expression he wore showed nothing but pain. Lucas said that he was the cause of everything. And that wasn't wrong, but it wasn't right either. It was something Lucas had to shoulder on his own. That's why Lucas, what do you want to do with this world? The world? I didn't know why I asked him this. It could have been something that was completely irrelevant. I know full well it's not too late and that I have no right to wish this. And if possible, I want to protect this town. Both of my fathers loved this town after all. I clicked too soon, sorry. Lucas wanted the town to continue existing. But make no mistake, I don't want the town to continue existing in its distorted state. The town is where people live. It's meaningless unless it's a warm and cheerful place that people can call home. It's not desirable in this state where people are in constant fear. Are we finally gonna get the fuck out of the Psychedelica bubble here? Because I'm like so tired of this. Like, we just live here. Wait, no, but we're dead. What happened to that? We just forgot? It's driving me bonkers. That's why, if you wish to stay alive, I will let you go free. Our eyes met again. I wasn't needed in the world Lucas wanted. A witch would do nothing but fan the flames of worry and doubt among the townspeople. And he said he would let me go free, if that was what I wanted. I'll just be Spacey, and not Spacey, and no one will know. Lucas moved closer to me and took my hand. Or perhaps, if you would choose another path, I shall kill you with my own hands. I can't do his voice anymore, sorry. After saying that, he kissed the palm of my hand with profound reverence. I'm just having a hard time with my voice today. My palm was caught between Lucas's warm hand and his cold lips. He intended to take responsibility for the town and for me until the very end. I could sense his strong will from my palm. I have to return soon. I see. Lucas moved away. His body heat around my hands soon dissipated, and I felt lonely because of it. But I couldn't depend entirely on him. The one that needed to make the decision was me. I want some time. I will tell you my decision then. Lucas nodded quietly in response. Okay, so, now we get to go to the Foggy Forest. And we get to do that. And then I wonder how this... Because everything else, you shouldn't say that. He needs to be released from his sins. Levi should be under the shining sun. And church choice, you can make either choice. Those are all... We've already technically made all those choices. We've never made the choice to... Or this ... one, so... Worst case, we have to go through and do all the other... Please give me some time. I couldn't decide. At the very least, I couldn't make the decision to kill Olga right now. You don't have much left. I know that, but still... Hugh, can I ask you to be my double for a little longer? Your wish is my command. I wasn't trying to run away. I told that to myself. If I stayed here with Olga any longer, I was sure I'd... Now kill me with your own hands. Olgar's voice echoed in my head. I couldn't immediately respond by saying that I wouldn't kill him. The man who murdered Francisca, a part of me didn't want to admit he was my biological father. It didn't absolve him from what he's done until now. Time had taken an equal toll upon both me and Olgar. Just being told that we were related by blood didn't change things so easily. I can't decide. I didn't meet anyone else and quietly went back to the jail cell. I didn't speak to Olgar after that. Okay, I have a feeling... Are we... Yeah, okay, we're already in the Lucas ending. Okay, perfect. Because we didn't go back to the map and choose, you know. But I guess we had to go there. The footsteps on the stone pavement woke me up. It seemed that I had fallen asleep. The jail cell got a ray of light from the window. Daybreak had come. The footsteps belonged to two of the private soldiers of the Hawks. They walked straight past my cell. It wasn't me they wanted. There was only one other person imprisoned here. The thing is there's only 3 chapters in Lucas, so Lucas's ending is going to be shorter than blah blah. Anyway, get out. I heard the jail cell being opened. I shifted from my seat to look toward the sound of the threatening voice. Olgar maintained his composure while obliging. He behaved with so much dignity that it was hard to see him as a prisoner. It was difficult to think that Olgar would be punished before me. Maybe they'd release him. That optimistic thought crossed my mind only briefly. New footsteps. One more person was coming into the jail. I subconsciously turned toward the sound. Lucas. I couldn't help but speak his name aloud. But he only glanced at me before moving to Olgar. The private soldiers forced Olgar to kneel before his son. The funny thing is like, you're like, no, I'm not going to kill you. And they never tell you what actually happens to him. It's just like, Lucas is like, I'm the new Lord of the Hawks, blah, blah, blah. They don't tell you that Olgar's dead or not in like Levon and Levi's path. They say nothing about it. Lucas and Olgar, father and son of the Hawks, faced each other. Though they were family, the air was tense. I will ask you a few questions. A cold tone. With Lucas's back facing me, I could only imagine what his expression was like when those words came out. Olgar looked up to his son without batting an eye. He murdered the Lady of the Wolves, Francisca, over a personal grudge, and antagonized many of the Hawks. Do I have that correct? That's right. I can't, it's so hard. It was as if an interrogation had just begun. But he was wrong. Although a personal grudge was part of it, what Olgar did was mostly due to the magical stone. They both knew that, but Lucas asked the leading question to which Olgar admitted. Why? He caused more discord between the Hawks and the Wolves, and dragged down the rest of the town. Do I have that correct? That is correct. I can't do the voices right now. As a result, many have lost their lives, and all of that. That's my responsibility. Despite my confusion, they continued speaking matter-of-factly. They have very similar voices, and they sound exactly the same right now, and I'm sorry, because I can't. Like, my voice is, like, fucked right now. You think nothing of this town? When Lucas... Oh, that was Lucas. Okay, whatever, they sound the same. Anyway, when Lucas said that, I could hear that his voice was slightly shaken. But Olgar... No. He answered immediately while showing a dauntless smile on his face. I've detested everything about this town from the beginning. That's why I wish to destroy it. He was imprisoned, forced to kneel, but the tone of his voice had a regal feel to it. Hey, it's your fault that our friends... Stop. One of the private soldiers put his hand on his sword, but the other rushed to stop him. But both of them had a look of hatred in their eyes, an intent to kill each other. Yes, Olgar was about to be killed. He wanted to die, just like he told me yesterday. And that was why he answered the way he did. For a brief moment, I saw the side of Lucas's face. His expression told me everything I needed to know. Lucas also knew what Olgar wanted. It appears that a naive child like yourself doesn't understand what it'll mean if you keep me alive. What are you talking about? The bounties of the secluded town will not remain with the winter cover. If so, what do you think will happen to the townsfolk with their lives at stake? I'm trying so hard to make them different, but it's like, it hurts. The statesmen will breed discontent to their ruler. That's you, the one who they deem their hero now. The imprisoned king spoke with a resentment and spite, and Olgar continued as if lecturing his son. Among them, some will say they preferred the previous ruler, and will come seeking me again. They'll forget about their lives now, and they'll forget about the war. Commoners are fools. They'll easily forget things inconvenient to them. See, so here's the thing. If we didn't kill Olgar, we went down Levon and Levi's path, we would have gotten out. And then Lucas probably would have, if he's going to kill Olgar, would have happened, but we just wouldn't have seen it happen. And you'll save those who seek your rulership? Are you asking if I'll lead them to defeat you? Let's say that it'll be a sight to see. Master Lucas, this man must be executed immediately. Pardon my intrusion, but I'm of the same opinion. While the two soldiers were getting heated up, Lucas and Olgar didn't say anything. Why would he say something that would purposely make him hate it? After some pause of silence and demands for Olgar's death, Lucas finally spoke. Your punishment will be decided later. He turned around to leave the jail. The two soldiers returned Olgar to his cell before following. That was all that happened during the day. Neither Lucas nor anyone else came to the jail afterwards. Olgar and I remained in silence until nightfall. Olgar? Mixed feelings of loneliness and anxiety compelled me to call out the name of the other prisoner here. No answer. I sort of assumed so. Why did you say something like that? I already knew why, but I asked him again. No answer again. I did hear the sound of his clothes rustling as he moved. I guess it's a waste of time to ask. I already knew this, but I was slightly disappointed. I put away that emotion in my heart and returned to the deafening silence. I should just go to sleep now. The next day, the day after that, no matter how many days passed, Lucas didn't appear again. The only one who came was the man who delivered our food, but even he remained silent. Not a voice was heard in days. Olgar and I also didn't speak, even though we were father and daughter by blood. To be honest, there was a part of me that hadn't accepted that fact yet. Maybe my hatred toward Olgar was still there, but I wasn't even sure of that. How did Olgar accept that horrible past? How did he feel toward Francisca? It was difficult to imagine. I didn't know him well enough to know. But that was exactly why we needed to talk more. But I couldn't find the right words to say. Olgar denied that I was his daughter, and I accepted his decision. He'd ordered me to kill him, but before I could give him an answer, that role had been taken over by Lucas. There was nothing I needed to speak to him about. I didn't know what to say. Time continued to pass, day after day after day. She is finally asleep. Right after hearing the snoozing of the other dweller, Olgar finally opened his mouth for the first time in days. No one else should be there, but another voice spoke up. Yes, she's fast asleep. She probably won't wake unless you get really noisy. Haku, what do you want? I thought you called me. Didn't you want something? You're a perceptive one. Now get me out of here. That's simple enough to do. Hugh's fingers slid across the lock on the bars. A clicking noise echoed through the jail. Come on out. But if there's anything else you want, I'd prefer you ask someone else. Huh. He slowly got up and slid through the bars. Wow, Hugh, douchey of you to leave me in jail. He moved toward the exit, but stopped in front of another cell. After looking at the other prisoner's face for a few seconds, Olga returned to his own cell. Are you done? Deliver a message for me. After a few more exchanges, a metallic click sounded again. Hugh vanished, and silence returned to the jail once more. The silence was broken a few days later. I heard footsteps late into the night. The source of the footsteps carried a lamp as it slowly descended down to the jail. The person bringing in food would never come at this hour. Then, Lucas? I spoke out to the source of the lamplight, but that question was drowned out by new footsteps following. There was now 3 sources of light, allowing me to finally see. I knew it. It was Lucas and the private guards of the Hawk. Just like that day, Lucas only glanced at me before heading to the jail cell further down. Olgar. I sensed someone moving to Lucas's call. Olgar should have been expecting Lucas to come. Your sentence has been decided. You'll pay for your crimes with death. Lucas spoke in a cold tone. I couldn't sense any emotion he had for his father. I see. Olgar only responded with the bare minimum. His tone seemed to have a hint of relief. Let's hear when and how. I can't do their voices, I'm sorry. I will not deny the honor of achievements of you as the previous lord. That's why we'll give you the choice of the time. I stuck my face close to the bars to try and see their exchange. I saw something taken out of Lucas's chest pocket. It appeared to be a bottle. He reached through the bars and placed it in front of Olgar. It's poison. He then walked away. I wasn't entirely certain, but he appeared to be walking at a quicker pace. Peace and quiet returned to the jail cell, shrouded in darkness. All he did was leave that bottle behind. But before that, Lucas clearly said he'd atone for his sins with death. In other words, that bottle contained... Olgar, what's that? I asked him through the darkness. It's poison for suicide. How horrible. But I expected as much. I heard the grating scrapes of the glass on the stone floor. Olgar was now holding the bottle. Wait! I shouted out in reflex. If I die, this world will end. Was that why he was doing this? I hear Olgar tapping the glass bottle in his hand. What about Lucas? Does he know that? About what will happen after you die? I had Haku tell him. Olgar made it sound like it was nothing. Haku was the servant that was under Olgar for years. It was another form that Hugh took. But if Lucas knew that the world would end and still gave Olgar the poison... Lucas must have thought it wouldn't happen. Hugh said that too. He said that the chances of the world not ending was higher. Then, nothing would happen with Olgar's death. His death could be meaningless. And he still wanted to drink the poison? Was ending it all what he wanted? A twisting sound echoed unnaturally. Olgar just opened the lid of the bottle. When he drinks it, he will die. Die. Olgar will die with the poison Lucas handed him? I had been nothing but a bystander, but I suddenly... Olgar, stop! I grabbed the metal bars, gripping my hands tightly onto them. I still hadn't come to a conclusion about him yet. I had to stop him by force. How could I get into the other cell? Damn it! But that was not meant to be. The rusted bars stood between Olgar and me. I could never reach him. The only thing that could was my voice. This is wrong. It doesn't matter whether the world will end or not. You can't just throw your life away. You can't give up. I knew it was futile, but I shook the bars with all my might. A grating, rattling sound echoed. I had to do something. Anything. And you and Lucas are supposed to be family. How can the child decide his parents' death? Lucas respected you, as a father and as the Hawk Lord. So why are you doing this? I didn't know what else to say. What else could I say? How could I stop Olgar? Or perhaps nothing I did mattered. I thought you detested me. Olgar spoke. He was right. He murdered Francisca. And with T, if it weren't for this man, I did hate you. But now, I know your past. The past? After all that's happened, this kind of ending is it's too sad. I finally realized that I was sad. About what happened to Olgar, about why he grew to hate this world. I'm just sad. You've grown to be a good daughter. Huh? I understand why he would have feelings for you. Fate can be a strange thing. The tense atmosphere seemed to relax. Something about Olgar had changed. He used to be a ruthless man, the merciless lord of the Hawks. But now, he was neither. Father. An existence I never knew crossed my mind. I had no intention of becoming a father. I had thought my child died with Arya. Yet, I needed an heir. I adopted an orphan from the church for that reason. I thought to pick the one most appropriate and just take him home. However, I listened to Olgar talking of his past. It was the same story as the person who was adopted at the church. There was a child with burn scars on both arms. Burns? Lucas's burn scars on his arms were covered with tattoos, but I did remember seeing them once. It was the mark of the sinner. Then, his parents committed a crime, and his arms were burned. I was the one who ordered it to be done. The sin of Lucas's parents. And because of that, Lucas... He may have already known, but there was no need to tell him outright, especially not of the sins of his own father. Which father did he mean? Lucas's biological father? Or Olgar? I thought he had died somewhere, but he appeared before me again. It's as if he forced me to look at the burns. It became proof of my sins of not saving Arya and my sisters, for taking his family away. Olgar laughed in a self-deprecating way. Then why did you take in Lucas? If those burns were the mark of your sins, why? I liked his eyes. While all the other children shook in fear, only he glared at me. They were the eyes of a hawk. Olgar seemed to enjoy reveling in the past. I told him that I would take him with me, and he refused to budge if I did not take tea as well. That's why I took them both. Looking back, that was the only time Lucas begged me for anything. I tried to imagine the two of them. T must have loved Lucas, even back then. It was when they were children. Despite where we were and the situation we were in, I wanted to hear more. I promised to erase the marks of their sins. More pain would accompany it. I asked if he could withstand it, and he glared at me with those same eyes again. Upon hearing his answer, covered his burns with tattoos. Tattoos? So that's why... One of my questions was answered. You thought it was in crude taste? I didn't think that. I did a little, but I was a bit taken aback by it, even though it may have been done for Lucas's sake. There's no need for him to be bothered by the sins of this father. Burdened by the sins of this father, sorry. The words felt like they were directed at me, too. My once thin child is now the Lord of the Hawks ruling over the town. He's your son. If I could make him feel that Lucas was indeed his son. Lucas kept to your teachings as your... That's all the more reason I'm not needed in this town. Olga... I didn't have time to stop him. Without a speck of hesitation, Olgar tipped the bottle in one smooth motion. That was the only sound I could muster. In that instant, Olgar had drunk the entire bottle. Gah! Olgar! A painful groan. He coughed blood and crumbled to the floor. That shit works fast. He was speaking fondly of his past just a moment ago, but it suddenly ended. Olgar! Olgar! I don't want to scream really loud, sorry. I couldn't run to him. The bars got in the way as I banged on them. I had to get out of here. But how? I know. That man. Hugh! Come out here! Please get me out of here! Hurry! I screamed, but no one responded. Hugh didn't appear. No! Olgar! Olgar! All I could do was call his name while his life was about to end. Olgar's mouth moved. He was trying to say something. I had to listen. I let go of the bars and tried to calm myself as much as I could. Silence returned to the jail cell. I heard a very faint voice. This is how it should be. He said nothing else. Olgar? His breath and life seemed to have completely disappeared. He lost his life so easily. This isn't how it should be. He just went and died. How can it... I want to give him a piece of my mind until my voice grew hoarse. But there was no one to say it to. Olgar's eyes had closed. He didn't move at all, and he never would. Like, a majority of Lucas's ending is Olgar. Why? Why? It was only moments ago that I heard him speak of the older days in memory. I wanted to hear more. Why didn't I ask him sooner? We had plenty of time alone in the jail. Olgar. I called his name one last time. I felt weak and sat on the floor. That was all I could do. Even doing that, nothing would change. The world didn't change. Olgar was dead. He took his own life. His corpse remained where it was, laying there before me. The two sets of bars blocked me from reaching that place. I suddenly couldn't see Olgar anymore. Someone was blocking my view. Lucas. How long had he been there? Did he just come back? Just to confirm Olgar's death? Or when did you... Were you listening the whole time? Why did you do this? Why did you murder Olgar? Answer me! Say something! I threw my anger at Lucas by shouting at him. Lucas didn't say anything, making me even more angry. The fury building up within blinded me till I finally noticed Lucas grieving. Lucas? This is what Father wanted. He finally spoke. I knew that too. I really thought I did. Is that why you killed him? Because that's what Olgar wanted? I won't justify it. I'm guilty of patricide. It's a sin that can never be washed away. If you really think that, then why? I've told you this before. Father taught me how to wield power. Huh? I tried to remember what he was talking about. I did remember him saying that, but when was it? That's right. It was when we were stuck in the tower. I also learned from him that obtaining such power is not always something to be proud of. I hear a loud clinking noise while Lucas talked. I wondered what the sound was, but quickly realized it was my jail cell being unlocked. Just a while earlier, I couldn't do anything, but Lucas opened the way for me so easily. But I didn't know the reason. Why? The captured witch watched the Lord of the Hawks die. He spoke as if reading a script, describing Olgar and me. And the witch despaired, knowing she would not be spared herself. By coincidence, that bottle held by the Lord of the Hawks rolled to her feet. That wasn't true. The bottle was still by Olgar's side. The witch picked up the bottle and drank the remaining poison to take her own life. That was the plan Father thought of. Even after listening to the whole thing, I had no idea what he meant. Was he telling me to die? No, he's telling you that you're going to fake your death, stupid. God, you're dumb. Come on, don't be stupid. Did he unlock my cell so I could go fetch the bottle? No. Could it be he wanted to make it seem as if that happened? That's right. He did this so that I could save you. Me? There's no way, because Olgar said that if he died, the world would vanish. Why would he think about the world after his own death? No, maybe that was wrong in the first place, and Olgar didn't think the world would end? But despite that, he desired his own death, even going so far as to devise a way so that I would be spared. That didn't make me happy at all. It was so selfish. He didn't consider how I would feel as I watched him die. And even if it wasn't directly, how Lucas would feel killing his own father. I looked up to see Lucas's face. I agreed to Father's plan, knowing everything full well. He said that only I could fulfill this duty. Or rather, it is a duty I must fulfill. Furthermore, I couldn't shake off my desire to save you. Lucas had already made that decision. He'd not shown himself for days ever since the first visit. Was he contemplating it the entire time? You're now dead. Even when you leave here, you can never go in public. I cannot guarantee a peaceful life either. Even so, will you come with me? Lucas held out his hand to me. Olgar gave me a chance to live. Now Lucas carried his will. Olgar took his own life so that I might live, and Lucas assisted in the death of his father so that I might live. I could not genuinely be happy about what they had done for me. But don't fuck up their sacrifice. Hello, clicking. I felt so helpless. Tears started streaming down my face. I roughly wiped the tears away, and with the same hand I took Lucas's. His expression seemed to brighten just slightly. I wanted to make it up to this father and son. That's how I sincerely felt. The next day, The deaths of the old Hawk Lord and the witch were spread across the town. I didn't know how the people reacted to the news. Did they really believe that announcement? Were there any people who objected? I had no way of knowing because I stayed in a room at the Hawk Manor. Just like imprisoned, it was cramped for how extravagant the manor was. The small space was now my world. I was not allowed to leave. I couldn't walk freely within the manor, let alone the town. I'd live here as a woman. At night, the only man who knew me would come to visit. That was the only thing I looked forward to. I didn't find it to be suffocating. I was able to live within this place. I was allowed to be kept alive here. It was all thanks to the father and his son. Even as I lived like this, time continued to pass. It's kind of a depressing, way of life. The season of the Masquerade Festival was approaching once more. The preparations had already been completed. With nothing to do in the confines of my room, I felt joy in being able to participate, even in the slightest. Because you're wearing a mask, so I wore the dress given to me that morning and checked over and over again to see if all was well. All that was left was to wait for him. I heard a knock on the door. As usual, the door opened without my response. Sorry, I'm late. It's all right. The same dress you wore the last time. I knew you have to figure they're not going to, give you a whole new outfit because that's a whole other, sprite they have to draw. Through the crack in the door, I noticed that it was already dark outside. Time for the festival had arrived. I picked up the mask on my lap and stood up. Only once a year, on the day of the masquerade, was I allowed to go into town. Only on this day were the people donned masks hiding who they really were. Whoops! I tripped over myself, but Lucas quickly held me up. Are you all right? I'm sorry. I haven't walked in a while. I'm really sorry. You don't need to apologize. There was nothing for him to apologize for. I was allowed to live thanks to Lucas and Olgar. That was enough for me. That was why I would cherish my life, for the both of us. Here's the thing. Okay, well, they know that Spacey was a woman, but they don't know Spacey is Spacey. So you could easily have, gotten a different, a red wig or something, and different clothes, and, you know what I mean? And then there's so many people in the town, nobody noticed when the random blonde chick showed up. That's all I'm saying, you know. That was the only thing I could do now. I mean, she could grow her hair out. Your hand. I put my hand over his. We felt each other's warmth. I mean, you're pretty much just like a sex slave now. You're just locked up in a tower, in a tiny little room. You can't even walk around the house. You can't even leave that room. You're just locked in there. It's kind of sad. I mean, I understand, Lucas isn't doing it to be a dickhole, but it's kind of sad still. It's I don't know. No matter where we go, I shall protect you. Always. As long as I live. Yes, as long as I live too. Lucas escorted me as we slowly walked out of the manor. It's just so depressing. The town, to the town and to the outside world I hadn't seen in a year. Really? That's so depressing. That's so depressing. Is it just this is me? It's fucking, sad. It's just, I don't know. Since we're 45 minutes in, I'm not going to I'm looking for a Lucas thing as we do this. I mean, we got his lovely mask one, his thing. I'm trying to, they never have one that's just them. We have him fighting us, but, I'm not going to start anything new. Well, that one's kind of, let's go back for a second. I want to see. There's the kissy ones. That one you can't. Levon had one of his own. Just Levon. Oh, here's a Lucas one. Just the Lucas. There you go. Perfect. He looks kind of angry, but it's okay. Anyway, that kind of sums up his face, the resting bitch face. Anyway, God, okay. All of these endings are just like objectively awful. Like, I mean, I feel like I loved the MC in this game, and I loved the game so much, and the wit and everything, but the endings are just leaving me just feeling dead inside. Like, I don't know. I feel like Black Butterfly was better in that respect because you had we're stuck in Psychedelica forever endings, and you're like, oh, that's a little, hmm. Like they were supposed to be nice, like, especially the Kaguya one. You're like, oh, it's kind of sad. Oh, but that's the way all these endings are. They're like, oh, okay. There's a kind of depressingness about them. Like they're kind of depressing. Like they're kind of depressing, even though they're supposed to be happy ending. They're depressing. You know, is all I'm saying. And like, I don't know. And I just feel like at least in Black Butterfly, then you had the real world endings where we at least got back to our lives, and it was like a sort of happy ending, even though like Kaguya was dead in all of them, except for the summer school one where you went back in time, which obviously isn't real, but which I'm still angry about. But you know what I mean? Like you left that game like, oh, okay, I feel better. I feel okay. Like, all right. This I'm just like, wait, these are sad. These are like the kind of like, you're like, oh, they're happy but depressed. I don't know. They make me feel kind of sad. Like I just want to like curl up on the couch with like a box of Cheez-Its or something. Just being, I don't know how I feel about these. Like, I don't know. But yeah. So this one's a little bit shorter. Hugh is what we will go through Hugh's path next. I have a feeling his is not going to be very long. I don't know. Lucas's was only 3 chapters, but we still got almost an hour out of it. The other boys were 4, and we got about an hour, a little over. And we got our normal length. So Hugh's might only be like a half hour because he's only got 2 chapters. So I don't know. If his is like a half hour, we'll just have a shorter part because I don't want to go into the traveler ending necessarily. Well, I suppose what we could do after Hugh, or like before we do Hugh, is see if the other shorty things are unlocked, if we've unlocked any of those. I don't know when we unlock those other 3 short stories, so we can try that before we get into Hugh's ending. And if they're not, I'll check before we get into it. But anyway, but yeah, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.